Good morning, members. It's obviously getting close to Christmas with the amount of hilarity going on and here. Good morning, members. Welcome to this Crichton Sub Committee on Friday, the 30th of November 2018. I'd like to remind members that the committee will be recorded and available for public listening. Before we start, some of you may already know that I was awarded Councillor of the Year for 2018 for special contribution last night, and I'd like to note my thanks to those who supported the nomination. I believe after the event there was quite a few people within Council supported the nomination, especially elected members. So I would just like to thank you all for that support, and hopefully we can go on and carry on with the armed forces stuff, the first aid stuff, and all the working with the communities that we actually do within Dumfries and Galloway. Just to show you the award, that is what I got last night. So thank you very much for that support. Thank you. I'd like to welcome the Crichton Chief Exec, Willem Gibbons, to the meeting. And we've got SEDERUNT, and apologies, please.
Thank you, Chair. We've got 7 members present this morning. 3 apologies from Councillors Davison, McGregor and Maitland. Councillor Charter is currently not present.
Okay, are there any... Jeff? Okay, do you want to clarify that?
Yes, there's an administrative error. We've got a new committee system, so when the papers were printed there were 3 names that shouldn't have appeared, but it's been rectified on the web.
Okay, thanks very much. Are there any declarations of interest? No, yeah, there's no declaration of interest. Okay, then the members will go into the item number 3, which is Crichton Trust Annual Accounts 2016-17. This report provides members with oversight of the Trust's financial performance from the 1st of April 2018 to the 20th of September. You got declarations? Oh, sorry. Minutes of the last meeting, can we agree those? Sorry. Flying, I've had a really busy 3 days. Just for noting, okay, just for noting. So item 4 then is the Crichton Trust Annual Accounts. This report provides members with oversight of the Trust's financial performance from the 1st of April 2018 to 20th September 2018 as shown in the appendix. Members will see an improvement in financial performance from the past years. There is also further information on the matter of the loan facility. Any questions that are more suited to item 4 on the agenda will be dealt with in that agenda item. Overall, this report provides members with an opportunity to raise any matters which is felt require further clarification or detail regarding the Trust's financial performance. The Head of Economic Development and the Trust Chief Exec is here to take any questions, unless you want to add anything to that, Jan.
No, I have nothing to add.
Graham, do you want to add anything to it?
No, nothing to add.
Members? John?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. This is actually quite good reading, comparing with the budget. It's well up, and even on some, it's more of a, it's not a question, it's just more of an observation that, you know, the number of revenue take-ins, food income, etc., rental income, they've all exceeded the previous year. So it's, I'd just like to say that's good news.
Thanks very much. And I do believe that the work that Alex Hashwell and continued with Grillham has seen a major improvement in the reporting of this particular report to the Crichton Sub Committee. Obviously, we're here to scrutinise the business plan and things like that, and not to manage the Crichton Trust. And I think congratulations is due to actually the Crichton Trust for the move through Alex and yourself, Gwilym, and your staff for actually getting to where you are today. Malcolm?
Thank you, Chair. As has been mentioned, the overall performance is looking a lot stronger. There's no denying that. I've still got a few concerns about the restaurant operation at £36,500 loss for the 6 months. I'm assuming that their year-end projection is going to be somewhere like 73. Is it basically going to be double that, or do you think there's the upcoming months better? And the thing is, I take it we're because that's, the loss I'm referring to is the loss before depreciation. So obviously that has cash flow implications. So I take it that's being funded through surpluses from the rest of the organisation. Is that right?
Well,
Yeah, first just to comment, I guess, on the performance as particularly relates to Neuros and your note elsewhere in the report that with the process of changing its name to Easterbrook Bistro. And so there's been significant improvement year on year. It's much busier, but it still presents a challenge, and I would say that's partly to do with the operating hours because the restaurant aligns with the operation of the pool, which is open from 7 a.m. in the morning, accessible until 8 o'clock at night. So that's how we can actually make that work, and we need to also consider the kind of wider, I guess, public benefit of the access to the pool as part of that mix. But we continue to focus a lot of effort to see how we can make further improvement there. And I would also just add one of the other challenges relating to the bistro, and actually it's a general challenge for the hospitality industry, is just staff. It's just keeping hold of staff and the continuity of staff. And we're experiencing that as a real challenge for ourselves in Easterbrook Hall. With regards to your question on depreciation, yeah, that the depreciation is basically paid for out of the surpluses of the entire operation of the Crichton estate. Depreciation related specifically to Easterbrook and the restaurant is not significant, but I'm happy to break down that depreciation figure at some point.
welcome.
The figure I was actually referring to was the operating losses, before depreciation, and I was asking about the cash flow funding for that. But mentioning the swimming pool is bringing me on to question number 2. What effect do you think DG1's opening will have on the swimming pool? Do you think it'll have any knock-on effect on your business?
I think that there are certainly some customers that will go back to DG1 who are making use of the pool. I would say, though, there often is a kind of waiting list in terms of access. And one of where our particular frustrations are, and I know it's a frustration for some of our customers, we restrict access for children in the nature of it being a spa pool. And we expect that it's children and young families that will relocate, and actually will open up potentially more income generation. So although it's hard to say, I think the impact is likely to be neutral on the pool.
Okay, thank you. Andrew?
Thank you, Chair. It's just within the actual figures that you've got on the first page there of the appendix. There seems to be quite a variation in the variances within some of the figures, and I just wondered whether if there's any way that when you look at what you're budgeting and the actual costs, if there's any way of relating it a bit closer or having a better guess at what your expectation of these figures are going to be.
Yeah, that's a very fair comment. We're in the process of introducing a new finance system to aid particularly the forecasting and the phasing of income and expenditure. And we'll build a model based on the spend and income of the previous 18-24 months. So I'm hopeful that particularly for the new coming financial year, there'll be a much closer relation to to what's forecast and what the income is. The other thing I guess is worth mentioning at this point is one of the significant variances through here is directly related to the increase in activity and turnover. So casual staff wages are significantly higher, as you'll see, bar and catering purchases, but so is the income against that. So literally our turnover in our cafe and restaurant areas is nearly doubled year on year. So, and there's a staff resource impact on that.
So having heard what you said, when do you see more continuity within the figures? Are we looking at the next 6 months, or will it take a year to kind of level out where you'll be able to make much clearer predictions as to where you're going to be on each one of the items? I would say you'll see it at the end of the first quarter of
2019-20. So we'll, as I've mentioned, we'll build the modelling for the new financial year based on actuals, kind of seasonality of this year, and also look at the previous year. I mean, we're obviously clearly quite close to the end of this coming financial year, so alignment will happen in the next quarter anyway in terms of what the actual variance is. We don't think it's wise for us to, well, we shouldn't change the baseline budget at this point, obviously. The budget's the thing that needs to align better, and the new financial year's budget will align from April onwards because we're going to build it on history of the last 18 months, 24 months.
Yeah. John and Jeff.
Thanks, Chair. It's just I've got to more or less to concur what you're saying there. Like, as I say, the disappointing fact was that the Neuros, being renamed the Bistro now, is still making the loss it's making, like, because as an occasional user, you can see the big difference in it in the last few months. Like, the quality of the food even is better, like, as I say, and it is busy when you go up there now, especially at lunchtime or that, it really is busy. So I just hope that we'll start to try and get this deficit right down. Like, as I say, and I've got much the same, like, as I say, the pool, I can't really see DG1 affecting it that much. Just what you said there, if you've got kids, there's only a smaller time. When we take the grandkids, you've got a short time, and you got other times of the day, and it's not so busy, like. But as you say, it's a spa pool, so you've got to do that, like. But as I say, I've said in the past as well, even when you had shows on at night, you came out at, say, 10 o'clock, 10:30, and you had to go into town to get a drink or that, like, because the Neuros was shut, which, as I say, it did impact on quite a bit of people milling about, whereas they could have made a wee bit of money more in there, like. But it's good to see that it is going, like, and as I say, the quality has definitely risen in the last 7-8 months or that, like.
Thanks for that, John. Jeff?
Yeah, you obviously are heading in the right direction. And I think I raised this at the last meeting that a significant number of people actually walk their dogs up there. You know, it's an ideal place for that. And I went on the website, must be 3 or 4 weeks ago, and there's still no mention that the bistro is dog friendly. And you know, it's a niche market, but it's an important niche market. You know, it's all buggers like myself who have got spare income who will quite happily take the dog in and you know, at the end of the meal, etc. And what's Fresco? Can you give me some details on that?
Okay, very quickly, just to note that we're in the process of redesigning our website and the revamped website, which actually is more about promoting the Crichton as a whole as a destination rather than about the Crichton Trust, is due to go live just before Christmas. And I know there's mentions in there around dog walking, but I'll try and make sure that links with the bistro. Fresco's is a small cafe facility that's right in the centre of the campus, principally servicing students and people working on the estate who just want to grab a sandwich. We're actually looking at significantly enhancing that offer because at the moment we just can't cope with the demand. Huge queues in there's a pinch point of an hour in the middle of the day. So that generates a small surplus at present, but it has the potential to generate more income, I think.
Thanks for that, Jeff. I have to agree with that because I've been to Al Fresco's and used the facility quite a few times. I didn't know dogs could read websites, mind you. Now, can we go to the recommendations, and we're asked to note 2.1, 2.2 and 2.3. Agreed? Thank you. We'll move on to item number 4 is the Crichton Trust. This report provides members with an overview of the Trust business activities for 1st of July to date. The report provides members with an opportunity to raise any matters which it felt required further clarification or detail. And again, the Head of Service and the Trust CEO is in to answer those questions, unless you want anything to add to that, John?
No, nothing to add.
Willem?
Nope, nothing to add.
Members? John?
Yeah, again, it's just a wee bit of clarification on page 23, the sort of first bullet point at the bottom there, and it's talking about the Crichton Hall, or turning the Crichton Hall into a 5-star hotel facility, but my understanding that's still with the NHS. How does that play out with the Crichton Trust?
Okay, yeah, that is correct. And Crichton Hall isn't part of the Crichton estate, but obviously borders directly onto us, and it's very close. I mean, I guess for clarification, and I appreciate maybe it's not as clear as it could have been in the report that we provided, but we absolutely need to plan for the potentiality of the Crichton Hall turning into a 5-star hotel. I think it will be transformational for the Crichton estate, and very important for us in a very positive way for Easterbrook Hall, New Rose, and particularly the church. So it's just, I guess it's just noting here that's something on our kind of immediate planning horizon that we need to be aware of and prepare for.
Andrew?
Thank you, Chair. On page 24 and 25, when you're looking at 3.7.2, hospitality improvement progress against targets, it says on the last two that they're on target, yet it says it's being revised, both are being revised. There's no real evidence to kind of give us an idea as elected members as to how you're on target, and I'd find that helpful in both of those paragraphs. The other one is, wait a minute. Yep, on Appendix 1 on page 27, you talk about, whereabouts is it? You're in the last box, you're talking about destination promotion, place development, and strategic partnerships. And when you look at the strategic engagement locally, you've identified a lot of worthy partners. However, what's missing from it is Swestrands, which is your, local transport or regional transport partnerships. So I think that would be helpful if it was in there. And then the last thing is at the very back. Is there any way of formatting the task report so that it's easier for me to read and understand as well? Sorry.
Okay. So I'll respond to those three questions. The first one relating to the targets, and I appreciate the confusion there. So the on target relates to the budget that was set, and so we're on target against the budget. But we also set ourselves an ambition to go beyond the budget that was agreed at the beginning of the year. We haven't quite met the ambition that we set, the challenging revised target, if you like, to get as close as possible to break-even point. A good point. The list in terms of potential strategic partners was not meant to be exhaustive, but I can see a really significant value in us having conversations with Westrans and making sure that we're linked into that strategic transport. So I'll pick that up. Your comment about the task list, this might be where we're a bit of a victim of providing too much detail. This is a report that's used very operationally for us to monitor progress, and certainly our board find it valuable to know the detail of the broad range of projects and activities that we're rolled in and targets that we have. I'll look at how we can present it, whether we can present a maybe a more refined and something that's a bit more easier for you as members to be able to look at and monitor and respond to. Thanks for that comment.
Jeff?
On page 27, mention's made of the Ladyfield site development. And by coincidence, one of my constituents actually emailed me the other day on the back of the participatory budgeting meeting we had over in the Cairndale, asking what had happened. They know there's been consultation on this, but it all seems to have gone very quiet in terms of what's happening there.
Willem?
So again, the Ladyfield site is not something, again, that's part of the Crichton Trust. It's an area that we're aware that there are plans for development, and I agree it seems to have gone quite quiet recently. It's something that's very much on our radar because we see real potential in terms of a new gateway into the Crichton estate, waterfront walk from the town centre up through that development to where we are, and also whatever is developed down there that could significantly complement what we're doing on the Crichton estate, and we need to look at our plans around it. But we haven't heard any detail recently in terms of the progression of those plans.
Andrew?
Thank you. Sorry, there's one other part that I missed as well. It's the very last page, 39, when you've got the organisational work structure. It's to get an understanding of the bottom section of that, where a lot of the services are going to be outsourced. Is there any particular reasoning behind that? Can none of it be done in-house?
Well,
So the first thing is that actually the majority of those services have been outsourced for some time. The only one there that is new is payroll, but it doesn't have any impact on staffing. It's more about efficiency and about working actually closer with our chartered accountants. And the support systems are literally just software systems, and it's again a tool for us to understand as a whole organisation all the different elements that support the work that we do on one page.
you want to come back?
Yeah, if you don't mind, is there any possibility that we can get costings just to see whether if it's value for money that the present system that you have in place?
I think that would be a bit confidential, just in case anybody else would want to apply for the contract, if you know what I mean, because if the Crichton Trust wanted to go out to contract and they understood what the original price was, they may come and undercut it. So I would be careful. That would be an operational issue, Andrew, as opposed to us scrutinising the business plan. I'll be very careful on that one.
I accept what you're saying, and maybe I should reword it in a way of, is there a better way of giving us an understanding as to the benefits of outsourcing?
So the benefits of outsourcing the payroll is that there's a saving in staff time that we can reallocate elsewhere, but the actual cost is not significantly higher than actually our subscription for Sage payroll. So there's an immediate saving in a software system that we're going to stop paying for, and instead buy a service from a payroll provider who happen to be our chartered accountants, who gave us the best quote for that work.
Okay, members, go to the recommendations, and we've been asked to review and comment on the work of the Crichton Trust as detailed in Section 3, which we have done, and to note progress on the implementation of the 2018-20 Strategic Focus Appendix 1 and Task Report. Happy to agree those. Thank you very much. And I have no other business, and so I'd like to thank members for their attendance and positive contribution to our meeting today. Please pass on our congratulations to the Trust and the work that they're doing, and long may it last. And we'll speak shortly. John?
Yeah, just to say happy St Andrew's Day, Chair.
Okay, thanks very much, members. Cheers.